How's it going, folks? Mark from Like Minded Lunatics, and this is the Monday Music Matchup Playlist. Thank you so much for joining me. I've got a special matchup for today, and this playlist is very simple. We take two songs, two versions of the same song, or two music videos, put them head-to-head, and see which one comes out on top. But today I'm going to change the rules just a little bit, and here's why. On Friday, I did a reaction to Linkin Park's new track, Lost. Now, if you're not familiar with it, Linkin Park is celebrating the 20th anniversary of their sophomore album, Meteora. That came out in 2003. God, it makes me feel old as hell. They're celebrating the 20th anniversary, and to celebrate that, they're releasing a huge box set. And in that box set, Mike Shinoda and the rest of the guys in Linkin Park are releasing some songs that didn't actually get released with Meteora, and one of them is Lost. And Mike Shinoda has said in interviews that this was a song that was already mixed, mastered, and almost on the Meteora album, but it didn't get put on the album because they thought it was too similar to Numb. And he said that everyone in the band agreed Numb was a better song, so Lost just kind of got lost. Even though it was completed, it was mastered and mixed. And so they're releasing it in this box set, and it's a new single from Linkin Park. And so I did a reaction of that on Friday, and I went into it with this mindset, like, let's just look at the song and try to ignore the fact that we lost Chester Bennington, right? Try to ignore the grief from that so I don't get pulled down into that pit, which I've done in some reactions. And so I did the reaction and I released it. And I got to be honest with you, it's one of the only reactions I'm unhappy with. And I think, oh God, I should just delete that one. Not because it's bad, but because it feels way too sterile. And so what I thought we would do is to kind of make up for that and make me feel a little bit better about the content, take a look at Lost and actually compare it to Numb. And just see, not if it's a better song, but did the fellas in the band make the right choice? You know, because one of the things that always is fascinating to me is that an artist will have a certain view of their art. And that view might be colored by the pain they went through to create it, or the turbulence that was going on in their life at the time. And they might have a certain view of it, and their view might be completely freaking different than the audience's view. And so what I thought we would do is put these back to back and just see, do we think that they made the right choice, or should they have put Lost on this album? So we're going back in time, 2003. Let's first start. I got my coffee. I'm all caffeined up, so maybe I got a clear head this time. Let's go and take a look at Numb first. Again, this is from 2003. Weird time for music. Weird time for music. Nu metal was kind of taking over, but Linkin Park was one of the bands that was cutting through, and this is one of the songs I feel like cut through, Numb.
Lost under the surface. Don't know what you're expecting of me. Put under the pressure of walking in your shoes. Caught in the undertow, just caught in the undertow. Every step that I take is another mistake to you. Caught in the undertow.
So I'm going to stop right there for just a second. That line has always really struck me as really, really poignant. Let's go back just a little bit. Every step that I take is another mistake to you. So even when I'm moving forward, you feel like I'm screwing up. I really have always thought that that was probably the key lyric to this song. I don't know why, but I've always thought that was kind of the Rosetta Stone lyric to understanding this song.
Is another mistake to you. Caught in the undertow, just caught in the undertow. I've become so numb, I can't feel you there. Become so tired, so much more aware. I'm becoming this. All I want to do is be more like me and be less like you.
All right, we'll stop there. Boy, oh boy, what a great song this is. And I think one of the things that I always loved about it was that, again, this is in a time of nu metal. I was already in grad school at this time, so I had started to stagnate in my music. Does that make sense? Because I didn't have time to listen to new stuff. Don't have time reading a ton, writing a ton, working my ass off to try to get this degree. And you kind of stagnate, at least I did. You stagnate in your music because you don't have time to search new stuff out. Nu metal was kind of rising. It's a little bit annoying to me. One of the things I didn't like about the nu metal was that they would use kind of the digital aspect and it felt like the worst parts of like cock rock and hip hop that I don't like, where it's all about me. It's like hyping me up. I don't that doesn't touch me in any way. But Linkin Park would use the digital aspects as almost like the psyche of the singer in the background, and the asides, the digital asides, like the vocalizations, caught in the undertow. They are always kind of like flavorings to whatever the protagonist was going through, and always appreciated that. I loved their use of that stuff. All right, Linkin Park, Lost, originally recorded it in 2003. Here we go.
Just a scar somewhere down inside of me, something I cannot repair.
I'm going to stop it. This is going to annoy some people. I don't care. It annoys me to no end. Whoever wrote the lyrics out, cannot, right there is one freaking word. C-A-N-N-O-T. Damn it. Whoever's writing the lyrics out, it's not the Linkin Park fellas. They didn't make this video. Whoever wrote it down, oh, God.
Even though it will always be, I pretend it isn't there. I'm trapped in yesterday, where the pain is all I know, and I'll never break away, 'cause when I'm alone, I'm lost in these memories, living behind my own illusion, lost all my dignity, living inside my own confusion.
So I'm glad we compared these, because here's why. I disagree with Mike in that they're the same theme. I disagree with him wholeheartedly. Here's why. Numb is about a liminal figure. In literature, we would call this a liminal figure, someone who is on the margins of society and feels like that they don't fit in, and that person is fighting against society, right? So to me, this feels like very classic rock and roll, heavy metal. I'm on the outside looking in, and you won't let me in. There's an antagonism between the singer and society. Lost. This feels like the antagonism is just between the person and his psyche. This feels like someone struggling with mental health. Whereas this one feels like that classic me against the world thing. Everything I do, you say is wrong. Girl! That thing. This feels like I don't want to leave my house. Not because the world is against me, but because my mind is against me. I think thematically they're pretty different. I don't know which one I prefer. And by prefer, what does that even mean, let's keep going, and maybe something else will come to me.
You see that you're smothering me, holding too tightly, afraid to lose control, 'cause everything that you thought I would be has fallen apart right in front of you.
See, that's what I mean, like that. So in nu metal, I always got the sense that when they used those asides like that, it was always like, look at me! And that just annoys me to no end. I don't like that. That grandiose thing was one of the things I started disliking about rock in the late 80s and early 90s. Before we transitioned to grunge, just the stuff I didn't like about newer hip-hop, don't really care for that. But I felt like Linkin Park was using those asides as a way to expand whatever theme the song was about. I always liked that, and I always thought that that was a really mature way to use kind of the conventions of that genre.
Every step that I take is another mistake to you. Just caught in the undertow. And every second I waste is more than I can take. I've become so numb, I can't feel you there.
See, I feel like, again, I feel like that this is using the conventions of kind of that new metal era and the digital era, but I feel like this is a throwback to, I mean, wherever I may roam. It's the same theme, isn't it? It's the same theme of a liminal figure who is being pushed out by society, who society does not accept in some way. It's we're not going to take it. Let's go back another 25 years. It's we're not going to take it, just kind of with different musical conventions to it. This is different though, isn't it?
But I'm tired. I will always be afraid of the damage I've received. Broken promises they made, and how blindly I believed. I will never break away, 'cause when I'm alone, I'm lost in these memories, living behind my own illusion. Lost all my dignity, living inside my own confusion. I try to keep this pain inside, but I will never be alright. I try to keep this.
I really like this bridge. When I heard it before when I did the reaction on Friday, this is one of the parts of the song I really, really like. They kind of mess with the count there. I really enjoy that. Let's back this up a little bit and we'll hear the whole thing in its entirety. But I love this little bridge.
To keep this illusion. I try to keep this pain inside, but I will never be alright. I try to keep this pain inside, but I will never be alright. I try to keep this pain inside, but I will never.
I just have to think from an engineering kind of a producing standpoint, this one was probably a bigger pain in the ass to record. I feel like it probably would be with all the layers, and there's a little bit of that, the time change there a little bit. I bet it was a pain in the ass to record. And there's more, I feel like there's more layering of Chester's voice, which means he would have had to lay down a bunch of other tracks and then the engineers mix them together. I bet it was more complicated.
Keep this pain inside, but I will never be alright. I'm lost in these memories, living behind my own illusion. Lost all my dignity, living inside my own confusion.
We'll stop there and then we'll finish up over here.
Become so numb, I can't feel you there. Become so.
Oh, isn't it like a time portal when you hear a song like this that you listen to so many times and then for whatever reason you just kind of gravitate away from it? Not that you stop liking it, it's just that there's other music and now we've got streaming platforms that kind of use algorithms and so you just don't hear things on rotation anymore. But every once in a while you hear a song like this and boy, it just kick you back right to a time period and a mindset.
So much more aware, I'm becoming this. All I want to do is be more like me and be less like you. I've become so numb, I can't feel you there. Tired of being what you
There's anger in this one and that's what I gravitate towards.
need to be.
I'm just now realizing that.
I've become so numb, I can't feel you there. Tired of being what you want me to
A little, I should have done this with Ricky here. Ricky is our resident musician. He's a professor of music at Texas State. He actually has a great story about Linkin Park that I'm not going to blow because at some point I'll have him tell it on the channel. But there's some sound effects in this that sound like video game sound effects, and Ricky has done some video game stuff. I should have asked him. That little whoopee, whoopee, Almost sounds like the damn whip in Castlevania, doesn't it? Let's go back just a little bit and just listen for the whoopsh. Is that a video game effect? I hope that it is. All right, let's finish up Lost. Oh, I was finished up. Shit. I'll mess that up again. I have to re-record this one. No, I'm not going to. Wow. So, typically on the matchup playlist, I try to decide which one comes out on top. And I think this one is going to be a really, really personal decision. And you will probably have a different answer than me. I think that if there was not room on the album for both of them, my preference would be this. My preference would be if I was arranging the album, which I am in no way qualified to do. If I was arranging the album, I would go Lost and then Numb. Because it feels like Numb is a progression from Lost. Where Lost, someone is suffering from doubt in themselves. Someone is suffering from depression. Someone is suffering from an insulated, isolation. And then they get out of it. And then the world is now, not accepting of them. And we go into Numb. My preference would be both of them on the album, Lost, and then follow it up with Numb. But if I had to choose one, I'm going Numb. And it's because of the anger in it. I gravitate more towards that anger. The anger of, I know who I am, and yes, I've made mistakes, but so have you. So who are you to tell me I can't make the same mistakes that you have? Fuck you. That I gravitate towards more than the mindset in Lost. Not that I haven't experienced this, but this is what helps me in the art, if that makes sense. Yeah, I think that's where I'm going. But let me know in the comments what you think. We've had some great conversations when I did the reaction on Lost. I don't regret... I regret how sterile that reaction is, but I don't regret the conversations that we've had in the comments section. So please let me know what you think about this one. And the last thing that I'll say in this one is that we got to support our artists, don't we? We've got to support our artists because here's what I've said in the past and what I'll say again. A lot of these songs, a lot of these artists that we gravitate towards because they touch us emotionally in a very deep and real way. One of the reasons we gravitate towards them is how emotionally raw they are. And can you imagine the mental strain that must place on someone to constantly be that emotionally open so that they can tap into those feelings and create that art that does resonate with us? Can you imagine the emotional strain, the mental strain that places on those people? And we use them up. We use them up, and the moment that they start complaining, or not complaining, but the moment they start revealing to us that it's tough, we immediately start with the, oh, cry me in your millions of dollars, whiner. I wish I could sit around and write songs all day. You know what? I'm going to say this. I've done both manual labor and artistic endeavors. I would much rather do manual labor. I would love to be able to just shut my brain off, put those earplugs in, and do whatever manual labor. At the end of the day, that is done. Artistic stuff creates this miasma, this lingering hurricane around your head, because you just unzip yourself. And then zipping it back up's hard as hell. At the end of the day, with manual labor, you can throw the damn shovel in the back of the truck. Maybe your back hurts, but you can go home and have some beers and pass out. You don't worry about it. With the artistic stuff, it just lingers on you, man. It lingers. It sits on you like a weight. We got to take care of our artists, especially the ones that we care about, the ones that are doing art, creating art like this that touches us. We got to take care of them. All right, folks, I want you to take care of yourselves. Make sure you leave me some comments. Let me know what you think about this one. Subscribe to the channel. You know all the things. And take care of yourselves, folks. And I'll see you soon. Hey there, folks. Make sure you hit the subscribe. Check out our other content. And while you're hitting them buttons, I'm going to practice my scales.